Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody?
How's it going, guys and girls?
We have a lot of people showing up already. We got EDM Squirrel. Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? I gotta mute
guys?
myself. We got Crypto Dad, Crypto
up,
Joe.
bro?
Yeah.
Nth Big Bear.
Strictly
I
OX.
think it's the future. What's going on? Ready for a good stream?
Dude, I like that name. Strictly OX. An homage to ETH. That's what binds us all together.
Saying my audio's a little low, Ant. Maybe it's just my mic.
Here, talk for a little bit. Here, talk for a little bit. Here, talk for a little. It doesn't sound too bad.
There.
I just listened to it on stream. You sound pretty good.
Okay, good. Fulcrum girls, who? I think there's a few out there. So we have our lending platform. It is out. It is out. Loans are being taken and offers being made. Tons and tons and tons of offers have already come in so far, and I'm blown away. I'm just blown away.
Dude, I am too. Cassapot says, congratulations on the P2P lending platform. Dude, thank you, man. We're so jazzed that everybody is just dive bombing the hell out of this thing. I mean, it's the best thing. It's what we wanted, you know?
What is this? We have Uniswap trading bots are probably...
Oh, yeah. Crypto Joe's got a question. He says, Uniswap trading bots are probably contributing to sync price suppression. I argue. That's him. Like hundreds of thousands of other projects. Put people off of FOMO, get botted reliably on large orders, and any price rise there is, a bot will arbitrage and bring down a bit. Yeah, the front-running bots, they're pretty annoying, but you know what? The larger liquidity pool you have, the more difficult it is for them to do that, and you can execute trades with lower slippage, you know? And with, you know, the fact that we got like 80% of our pool bonded up, the liquidity is going to be there for anybody who wants to like trade, right? So it's not as bad in our pool, especially at our market cap level. As we rise up the ranks and more bonds are created, that's just going to get better and better, and we're going to outpace everybody in locked liquidity.
I couldn't agree more with that.
I mean, that's what's really wicked about our project. We literally make Uniswap better than it already is, you know? The gas fees, guys. Usage is up on Ethereum, and yet the gas fees are down. And they're supposed to be doing some more improvements to make them even better. So, just bullishness, bullish cases everywhere.
Yes, definitely. Big Bear. You got 6 offers that have been accepted. Nice. You're lending it out.
Nice.
Man. Good stuff. Good stuff.
We got a loan shark in the house.
There we go. It's going to be Big Bear Crypto Bank. And Sink or Die Trying. You have 2 loans.
Oh, we need to put that in the artwork, Scott.
Big Bear Sugar Daddy.
Big Bear Sugar Daddy.
Yeah.
We need what we need is a loan shark bear, like in our artwork. That's like half shark, half bear for Big Bear the loan shark. Immortalize him into a bond. That's what we need to do at this point.
Yeah, probably.
Do it. Do it.
Crypto more life. Exactly.
Give me some honey bug bear. Gold crypto. Oh, you guys, this is so awesome, man. We're so stoked. It was man, we really got ran through the ringer. It was hard to make our stream appointments with you guys in the last few weeks, but I hope you guys can understand. It's just because we were busting it. We were
really cranking it out,
getting it done. It feels so good, like to work so hard on something and then just like it's done, it's out there, and now we can take care of the little typos and bugs and little things that are on it, polish it up, make it perfect. I feel like that's what other projects do when they drag their feet too long. You know, they work so hard to get something out, but they want it perfect right out of the gate. And they're so worried about that, you know, that they wind up just like, almost like baiting their community forever.
I mean, if you need to have a product, you need to have some sort of a product. You can't, it it can't just be like, I owe you this indefinitely, you know. And that's what kind of happens a lot of the time, where they try to make it too perfect, and then it gets down the line, and then they end up changing something to optimize it, which then brings in new problems, and then they try to make it better, and it's like it never gets to market. It's like if you don't have a product, you're dead in the market.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you need a product, and I feel like we have a killer product. You know, we have a killer use case, and we got some surprise news for you guys who are watching and tuning into the stream, so you might want to let some people know. Let's get these numbers up in here. Because at some point in the stream, we'll announce some of the new things that are on the horizon. Yes, as crazy as this seems, we're some crazy dudes. As much as we put into building this lending platform, surprise, there's actually more going on. That's why we're going crazy.
I mean, I've been saying it since the beginning. Like, this is a network. We built this to be able to plug in a tremendous amount of things to it. And that, you know, the original just crypto bond idea was just scratching the surface, and that we're going to be able to. There's a lot more things that are going to be able to be built here. We just released this lending P2P, which I think is absolutely awesome. I think, and you know, the fact that you can set your terms, you can be the borrower and the lender. I mean, there's so many interesting things that you could do with that. You know, I mean, you could get a loan for a long period of time, and then you can give out short loans at the same time with the loaned money if you want it. Plenty of things that could happen, and it just goes to basically more like derivative type products, stacking things on top, you know.
The more we can bolt products together and make, you know, like our partnership with Niftify is a pretty interesting partnership. You know, we talked about just, you know, cloning it. A lot of people do that in the crypto space, but we wanted to partner with them because I feel like, you know, that'd be a lot stronger of a relationship between us and them, and less of just like stealing someone's idea and running with it. You know, we're leveraging their technology to make a lot of this possible, but then we're doing it in our own way that's more beneficial, I feel. I think we've taken their product and raised the bar, and so it's something entirely new now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in my opinion, like, you know, lending on a blank NFT, or not a blank, but just a piece of art is way more risky than an actual NFT that has actual tokens in it, you know.
Intrinsic value versus like, you know,
it's just pure speculation the other way. It's like 100% speculation the other way.
Yeah, I mean, like if it's like you know, a famous art piece, that kind of makes sense, you know, and it has a history and a story behind it. But if nobody knows what the story behind it is, like, why does anybody care? You know, it's just another JPEG, as a lot of people say. I don't necessarily believe that if it actually it has like an attachment on the blockchain to the actual artist and you actually care about him. Like if Mick Jagger made a NFT and he actually made it, right? And then you got the one from him, a copy doesn't suffice. I mean, he actually had something to do with the creation of that.
Yeah.
And it can't ever be done again. So like you guys are connected in some way. Kind of like you guys are connected to us through the stream right now. You know, we're not talking to anybody else. We're talking to you guys.
I think NFT, like, this is something that I thought that would be more in the future for kind of the digital art, which would, I think this would be a better use case if augmented reality was more of a thing.
Yeah, AR. AR is pretty cool.
Where, you know, if you just had a set of glasses on, you'd have digital billboards that you could see that are tailored specifically to you.
Oh yeah, that's how these work. You know, these let me see into the matrix wherever I go. I can see how the simulation's actually functioning. Yeah,
because then, you know, I mean, you just have advertisements everywhere, and they'd be all NFTs specifically pretty much for you. That NFT would be that geolocation on Earth that you own, you know?
Imagine opening like a newspaper, and there's all these blank spots in it, but you're wearing your glasses, and it has a QR code, and that actually lets you read the newspaper. And so the ads in it change once they run out of ad money and a different sponsor shows up.
Yeah.
But without your glasses, it's just a piece of paper with a QR code on it. That's crazy, you know, and you don't have to go get a new paper. You just open up the same one and it updates. You don't have to remember where you bookmarked it or your login or your password. Yo, Jen Fly, welcome to the stream.
Oh. Big Bear loves the red pill shirt. Well, you know, I had to break it out today. I had to break out the conspiracy theory shirt because, I mean, I think I have to break this out today, too. The conspiracies around John McAfee are so great that I think it might be time for one of these today, you know? A stream, tinfoil hat stream, you know?
Get your tinfoil hat ready.
Yeah. Yeah, because,
that's awesome. You got your tinfoil hat ready. You're like, they're not going to read my thoughts. Don't take it off. They're reading your thoughts.
I mean,
they're going to get your private keys, man.
the whole McAfee, like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, man, this is. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, that's why I had to go put on the conspiracy theory shirt, because this is a Q shirt, man. So,
I mean, as much of a prankster.
Give me a second.
While he's redoing his headset, as I feel like as much of a prankster as McAfee was, he would want to see the effects of his pranks. He had a loving wife. He was pretty happy in life, and he was very adamant, I will not commit suicide in prison. And then, you know, he gets these death threats saying, we're going to kill yourself. And it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's, and then everything about, like, how the whacked contract is working, and there's some just weird transactions in there. I actually went through a lot of them yesterday, and I don't really even know what to make of it, to be honest with you. And then there's things on Twitter talking about there's potentially NFTs that are getting minted and has like 31 terabytes of data or something. I'm like, this is nuts. This is such a over the top thing. I really don't know what to make of it. What do you think about it, Cryptogenik?
About the
just like all the rumors online, like the Twitter threads that are developing around this are nuts. I mean,
sorry, technical difficulty there.
That's pretty jazzy, huh?
Yeah, the conspiracy rumors are flying around like buzzards, man. I mean, the air's thick with them, and with all that's just going on, you have to wonder like who would want him dead and why they would want him dead, and you know, I don't think it's hard to believe that anybody was actually wanting to kill him from higher up in the political chain, right? If anybody would be mad, it'd be like all the people who had invested in those crap coins that he had, you know, basically sold them on, and then they lost lots of money, right? So I don't know. I don't really see him as being a threat to any political person.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird. The whole thing is very
It's
weird.
very strange.
Even some of it, like, and then you go back through his tweets and stuff from just even a couple of years ago, and it's like, oh wow, this is really down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah. Now he has had armed guards, and he had, you know, personal bodyguards for a long time, so he's had some sort of threat on his life. My suspicion would be it's more likely to be from the cartel than it is from politics. I mean, they kind of cross over in some ways, but...
Yep. That would make sense. Dude loved his drugs.
Man, yeah. Dude, McAfee was so far out there. He was hilarious and entertaining, and it's kind of sad to see that gone, you know?
Oh my god, I loved watching it. Whenever he was streaming, just the things that would come out of that guy's mouth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He wasn't afraid to say anything. I mean, it was obvious that he got off on the attention, you know, so he would seek more and more attention. And he profited quite a bit from it, though, you know, so in some ways he was a scammer. This one's for Scott Bondsman, OpenSea. Oh, that's a reply in Telegram. I accidentally lost the chat. Let me get the chat back real quick.
Yeah, we have...
Sleep well, legend John McAfee. Captain Jackie Sparrow. Scott Scott's voice is low compared to CG. Yeah, I tried to boost his volume a little bit. Maybe you could turn up your mic on your end, Scott.
Let me see. Let me see where the setting is.
That'd be better than my end because you're maxed out.
Yeah, we can go up a little higher, I think.
Merging Footwork says, afternoon. Website is flawless. Dude, thank you. I mean, flattery will get you everywhere, right? It's not flawless. We know there's some little typos and stuff. We'll take care of those shortly, though. But yeah, man. Crypto Joe's asking us a tough question. I didn't want to miss you, Joe. I saw that earlier. Just circling back around. He said, could you talk to us about what we know so far about the security of the P2P product, which relies heavily on Niftify's coding and some people as dev access input? Not saying this would happen to Sync, but Polygon Net Iron Finance, which was Titan, was a dreadful exploit theft of maybe 30 million USD. Binance Smart Chain recently exploited the Venus lending platform. Pancake Swap months ago. Security info so far. Yeah, so here's the thing. You're in crypto. It's the Wild West. It's extremely risky. You're in a risky environment. You should do everything you can to protect your assets. You should use a hardware wallet. You should protect your private keys. You shouldn't just be relying on your mobile phone only. If you're doing those things, you're doing them wrong. And I know a lot of you are. And I know that I could say this till I'm blue in the face, but you need to be very careful of those things. You need to not over leverage. You need to not invest everything into one pot. You need to diversify. This is not financial advice. This is just security advice, but there is a little bit of overlap there, right? Security advice, you should always be careful, especially of unaudited contracts. And the audit on Niftify is pending. It's been in use for a while, and a lot of Ethereum has gone through it already before we launched on it. We did not fork their contract. It's the same contract. So if you make loans and stuff on our platform, you can see those same loans over on the Niftify platform as well, but you don't get all the data-rich information that you get on our end to help make a better educated guess about how much you should lend and things like that. So bear that in mind. We're pushing them to get their audit through done faster, but ultimately it's up to them, and who knows what the audit's going to come back and say, right? So be aware of the risks. If you know the risks, you can make educated decisions, and now you know. So that's kind of where the current state of things is. So bear that in mind. You want to know what you're doing. Some of the most dangerous things that are in crypto right now are widely used by everybody. A lot of people are using Tether, and if that goes down, none of the rest of us really have a prayer. We just have to suck it up and move on from there.
You want to talk about unaudited contracts? We've had 6 months of absolute shit coins scrolling across Dex Tools trending top 10. I mean,
Crypto Joe has an important follow-up question here. He says, have sync coders analyzed Niftify's code and are happy with it? Yes, Frankie and I both looked over their code, and here are some things that I can tell you that will make you and us feel a little bit better about it. The reason we felt very confident in their code base is that it's not the type of lending platform where you're pulling your tokens together with a lot of people. It's person to person, right? So you're only involved in the transaction with one person on the other end. By design, that immediately mitigates a whole slew of security holes. There can't be, a broad sweeping exploit that's going to knock everybody out at the same time, because everything's done on an individual one-on-one basis in a very similar fashion the way that we built the NFTs on our platform. So we noticed right away that there was a security-minded, conscientious person that developed their contract, and that made us feel a lot better right away. It was also independently audited by a couple of other developers in the community, but there's just not been a formal audit. That being said, I think it looks pretty strong, right? I'm not afraid of using it. That's me personally. But, I can understand if somebody wanted to definitely wait until there was an audit. That's a very reasonable thing to wait for.
I mean, the code is like super well documented.
It's
like,
very well done. It's very well done.
You can basically go and read it for yourself. Their documentation is wonderful.
Oh yeah. Clean code. Clean code is always better code, right?
Yeah, that's really, really clean code. I will.
And it's simple. It's those complex things that have like giant lending pools and things like that can get rugged out by one exploit and empty everybody's liquidity at the same time, and that's terrible. This is, in my opinion, much safer than that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and it's.
Yeah, only the escrow could be targeted.
You have other safety things that you don't necessarily have with this type of lending as well.
Yeah, I agree, Crypto Joe.
I mean, you're just talking about you're trading time in a sense, where you accept an offer, if you like the terms or not, and it doesn't matter what value of that collateral is or how it fluctuates. The only way that you can get foreclosed on or basically liquidated on that loan is if you just don't pay it back. So it's all up to you. It's not about like, oh my god, my collateral is crashing, I'm going to get liquidated if I don't put more money in to cover the margin requirement. And it's like, that's none of that.
Yeah, I mean, when you make a loan, or if you borrow for like DAI, you get that right away up front. So it's the crypto bond that is put into contract escrow, right, to be held until the loan is either repaid, which then there's where the DAI comes back into the contract, or ETH, whatever, and then the repayment is passed through right to the other party. It doesn't even go through the contract. So that's person to person. So the contract just holds the asset in the meantime. That's why it's a lot safer. I mean, I'm extremely confident that even if it's audited, it's going to be all right.
And, unlike these other platforms that you get a loan, you have to pay it back, you have a little bit of an interest rate there. If somebody doesn't pay it back, right, and you get to foreclose on them, if you set your terms right, and depending on what these tokens could be half off that you're now receiving in this bond, So if somebody didn't pay back, let's say you gave out a $5,000 loan on like a wrapped Bitcoin ETH crypto bond, and it was worth $10K.
Yeah.
If you foreclose on that, you just got Bitcoin and ETH 50% off, and Sync, everything 50% off. So it's.
Oh yeah, the actual aspects of lending are great, And Joe's following up. He says he only asks these questions to think of the worst case and to try to avoid the horror of ever happening. And like I said, now I will say that the process is pretty simple and straightforward, and the way that the developer approached creating those functions was very straightforward. Some of the signing things is actually very complicated. The code is not like what I would say simple code. The signing procedure does give the contract access to take your DAI and ETH, right? Your WETH, not your ETH, just WETH, uses wrapped ETH. And if you want to think about that, after you have finished your lending procedures, you want to go to like the DAppStar. If you haven't heard of DAppStar, they have a token allowance checker. You can go to that and then remove Niftify's access to be able to lend and repay loans. There's no built-in feature to do this, but it's better to use a third party anyway, so it's actually being done, because you don't want to rely on the people doing it, because they could just say they did it and they still have access to your tokens. You want to use the token allowance checker. Can anybody throw that link up in the chat? I'm sure somebody's got it. But if you just Google search, token allowance checker by DAppStar, you can see a list of all of the contracts out there on Ethereum that can pull coins out of your wallet. You need to make sure you've got that list cleared off if you're not using them anymore. If you don't have those tokens anymore, like if you have it authorized to use DAI and you don't have any DAI in your wallet, obviously it can't take anything, right? So I mean, that's another way to think about it. If you don't want to mess with your permissions or whatever, you could just use die only, and just go do what you're going to do with it, and you can sleep at night because you don't have to worry. Oh, can some contract take my die out of my wallet?
Right.
Because
exactly.
Yeah, because you probably have a lot if you do a lot of DeFi stuff. Because it's a requirement. You have to ask permission of the user to use their assets. That's what that allow token on our contracts are when they you want to create a crypto bond to use the Uniswap liquidity. You have to allow the token. You have to allow the sync token. You just got to do it once, unless you go to the DApp star and tell it you don't allow it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're seeing in our contract, our contract's immutable, so we can't change anything on ours, and so it's not like we're able to change what happens with the unlimited spend on our contract.
The way you build crypto bonds, yeah.
So
that's locked in stone, so you don't have to worry about it. And if we did ever change the contract, because we don't use a proxy, you'd have to reauthorize your tokens anyway. So it's not even possible to launch a new contract to take your tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super secure. Ethereum is a really well thought out product, really.
I agree.
So should I tell them about the next bit of news?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, guys. So while we've been working on the lending platform, we've had our artists drawing up some new line work for us, and we just got some of the sketches back today.
Yeah, that was really sick, actually.
I have to say, it's the sickest artwork I've seen yet, and I'm just like, man, this guy is like, I guess he's getting better. I don't know. He's an amazing artist to begin with, and here's my thoughts. I don't want to give anything away, but tell you that new artwork is coming, new scenes, new characters. But they're not replacing the scenes we got. You're going to have to find them out by building bonds. So will you be able to find those 3 new characters and all of their different variations and the 3 new scenes? And so these 3 new scenes are actually like insane. I wondered what was taking him so long, because he's been working on them for about a month.
It makes sense now. It really makes sense now.
Yeah, and because I gave him a lot, I just, said, this will keep him busy. He'll be able to draw. And he was kind of quiet. And I kept thinking maybe I should, pester him and see what he's doing. But I was like, nah, I got too much going on anyway. And then he sends me a sketch today. And I'm like, yes, we should move forward and finalize this. And then I can start coloring it in and building out the layers and stuff. And Scott saw it. It's mind blowing.
They're very, very good.
They're very, very good. I think it's an upgrade.
Very, very good.
I think it's definitely an upgrade.
I wouldn't call this Gen 3.
More like 2.5.
Yeah, it's like
an expansion pack.
It's like an expansion pack of 2.
Yeah.
Because we have some pretty wicked ideas of what we wanted to do for Gen 3.
And someone suggested we should make a McAfee one. Yeah. Add him as a character. Yeah. What if we did that, guys? What do you guys think about adding McAfee in as one of the characters that we could get on the face of the Bond artwork? That could draw in a lot of people from the outside community, because he's not like in one project. Dude, he was all over the place.
It would be good. The buy the dip video? You know what I'm talking about when I say the buy the dip video.
Yeah.
And he's at the end, and he's like God, and he's like, Bitcoin will be worth $1 million. And like that image right there of him like in the clouds actually makes way more sense now.
Oh yeah, we could have it look like he's in the clouds of the artwork. Yeah, like we could have a heaven scene for him, and then his head was always in the clouds anyway, but. Let's get some more responses in here.
So, Big Bear, when will USDC, or any idea when USDC will be available for a lendable asset? And you are right that your assumption is correct that it is on them, and we're working on getting that implemented with them.
Mohawk says, put him over a bridge because he's a troll. It should be under the bridge. Waiting to pounce out on people with the arm tattoo. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, he was a lot of things, but I can say he was definitely entertaining.
Oh, my.
He brought a lot of attention to crypto, too. Remember when he ran for president?
Yeah, he ran for president. I mean,
he's like,
he was like a great spokesperson, kind of, because he was such like he was an old degen, basically. You know, I mean, you have this guy that's basically telling all the governments of the world to go piss off. You know, I don't care. I'm gonna do my own thing. We're gonna decentralize everything.
Was he even allowed in the United States? You know? Was he barred from the United States for any reason?
No. They've been trying to extradite him for years.
They've
been trying to get him. They've been trying to find him. They seized his yacht. They seized all of his property
to get him back in the United States, right?
Yeah, on tax evasion.
Yeah. But he's like, no, I'm not coming back. Yeah, he was wanted by the U.S. How can you be wanted for tax evasion and run for president? like he's like, I evaded taxes and ran for president. I mean, I guess other presidents do that too. But I
was just gonna say, like,
they do it legally.
Hillary Clinton. I don't know. She ran for president.
I mean, they all do it. You know, they all avoid taxes using loopholes, so they're legal. They're in that gray area, but you know, can't really prove it, I guess. So, but if you're on the bad end of the stick, though, you don't have a chance against the giant system that we've already got in place.
That's why we gotta make a new one. Got to have something to replace it with. You can't just, because if you don't have something to replace it with, that's what causes serious violence.
Yeah, we don't want that. EDM Squirrel's got a message for you, Scott. He says, look at the McAfee one in the Sync Telegram right now. Sync Telegram. I don't have a Telegram up at the moment. I got it. Scott will have to look at it for me.
Yeah, but the Telegram is... Oh, here we go. Death row. Yes, exactly. They finally cut his dick off. It's $1 million. This is hilarious. It's like a plate of prison food with his dick on it. Inmates of DeFi.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can find it out there, but I made a website that had a countdown timer and it tracked the price of Bitcoin. And they were converging to how many days were left to whether or not McAfee was going to wind up having to eat his own dick.
Well, he didn't anyways.
So. He missed the opportunity. He said he'd pay someone else to eat it. That's what he said. He's like, I have people to do things for me all the time.
Yeah. What a riot, man. What an absolute riot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Big Bear's laughing at it. I'll have to check it out later, yeah.
Awesome. Like the hat, EDM Squirrel. Yeah, I love this hat. It's like a Bitcoin hat, but it's super low key, you know?
Yeah, that's a nice one. Mine's really like, people ask me all the time, they're like, what's with your hat? What does that say? And I'm like, it says HODL. And they're like, is that like hold? I was like, kind of. Sparks up a conversation about it, you know.
Extra strong hold. That's what that means. Yeah.
It's like death diamond hands. Wow. This whole market cycle has been so crazy too.
Yeah, it's been weird too because I think it's the same exact cycle as 2017, but it's drawing out over a longer duration of time.
Yeah.
So like you have a 14-month run up. I'm going to say you probably have at least 4 months of sideways because it's validation, where you only had like 3 or 4 weeks in 2017 at this, you know, it's making the same chart pattern basically. If you look at it just looking larger.
If you look at the stock to flow chart, it's really spot on with the last bull market. except we're in a bigger dip for the model. Right now we are. Which, if that means that, to me, that's kind of a bottom signal. I mean, if we're at the bottom, there'll be a lot of sideways movement for a long time. It may go down 20% more, maybe more, But in the long term, it's bullish as all get out.
I mean, ETH hasn't broken the channel that it's been in for over 15 or how many months now?
Yeah, Big Bear's right. Stock to flow is still intact. Wyckoff is still intact. We good. We're so good right now.
Yeah, I mean, looking at ETH, because I just have that open right now. It's been in the same channel for...
Yes, sir. Strictly
472 days. It's at the bottom of the channel right now. It's at the absolute bottom of the channel where it's ever been.
Yeah. But, like I said, we're at a low spot. And like in the next, was it 2 weeks? Or whatever, El Salvador is providing all of their citizens Bitcoin wallets. Did you hear about that?
$30 going to every citizen in El Salvador.
That's crazy.
Their money is worthless now. I mean, you have a lot of these Central American and South American countries that their fiat systems are just melting up. They're just, you can't buy anything with them.
The U.S. government steps in, like, no. Don't do Bitcoin. Anything but that. We're not ready.
Well, it just means that paper money is worthless. That's the thing. When you have a country say that their paper money means absolutely nothing and they'd rather have Bitcoin, what does that mean about everybody else's fiat currencies that are doing the exact same thing? Here's
a great analogy, right? You were talking about how NFTs before, like, it's just a JPEG on some of them, but the blockchain proves that JPEG was tied to the artist that made it, right? With these dollars that we have, the dollar bills, they're like JPEGs. They can just copy them, print them as much as they want. It doesn't matter if they're like even tied to the original. They estimate that there's like maybe 15% counterfeit money in circulation.
Yep.
So 15% of it is not even real, That's a big hit on your money if you think about it.
Well, and then you wonder.
I bet everyone in here has handled counterfeit money without even knowing it. I bet everyone has.
Yeah. I've seen some really good ones. I used to actually, when I was like 20 years old, I was actually a teller at a bank, and there was some of the counterfeit is horrible, but some of the counterfeit is very, very good, almost impossible to tell.
Yeah. So when I was a vice president, and when we got counterfeit bills in, we'd seize them and be like, yeah, this is not real. We're sorry, but we got to turn this in. And some of them look like hand-drawn horrible, but some of them, like, they had the little metal bar in them and everything. They glowed under lights.
I've seen them so perfect where the only way you could tell the difference on the $100 bill is when you move a $100 bill like back and forth, it changes from green to gold, that little the emblem on it, and these were changing from gold to teal.
So what I found out was that all of this counterfeit money that looks insanely good is being made by like South Korea or North Korea or whatever.
North Korea and China, man.
North Korea and China, and they can make the most perfect counterfeit money because they're like government-sized entities, right? These are like, and what they do is they hide it and they smuggle it into the country and then try to buy stuff and ship it back to their country. They try to, do anything they can.
Get yourself an onion browser. You can go get yourself $500,000 for like $50 online.
Yeah, you can buy counterfeit money. It's horrible.
Counterfeit money online on the black market.
Definitely don't do that though, because
that's not a good idea. Yeah, that's
you will get arrested because a lot of that's really just the CIA sending out tracking devices to your house to pick up.
Secret service, man. They don't play around with that shit.
But those things do exist. There's black markets and they're horrible. And those people always get their up and comings.
Mm-hmm.
Those are always just temporary scams. But when you're a country, like, you've got missiles to defend yourself, like from like jets and stuff like that. They go to war over this kind of stuff because North Korea's been attacking us with counterfeit money. But if we switch to cryptocurrency, they can't do that crap anymore. They'll have to switch over to cyber espionage and hacking.
I mean, if the world switched to cryptocurrency
they already are.
And cut off fiat, I don't think we would fight another war ever again.
Well,
think about it, right? I mean, if they couldn't just print money, convince people to go kill people, and they had to find actual consensus, then you would actually need all of the people in your population to agree with you, and then donate money if they can't force tax on it. You know, if everyone was using it at once. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. Like in some countries like China, people don't really get a choice, and in countries like the United States, people are given a choice, but there's no real choice. It's an illusion.
Yes,
right?
Full illusion.
One
party system, basically.
You know, it's kind of that way if you think about it, because it doesn't matter who you vote for. If it's Democrat or Republican, it's funny, they all do the same thing once they're in office.
Yep, they build bombs.
Ignore the people. Ignore the people and do what they want.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. More wars, less education, worse roads, higher taxes, less freedoms. Doesn't matter, blue or red. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why this is the future. This is what's coming. You know, it's crypto based. It's NFT based. And I don't think anything can stop what's coming there.
Oh, hey, we got a cool question in the chat. Moloch says, for the lending platform, do you think we'll be able to bundle bonds together and get a larger loan in the future? Yes, there's definitely technology to make that possible. And obviously it gets a little more complicated because, you know, if you start categorizing your crypto bonds in categories of like, you know, how much risk is in each one, right? You have to do a lot more analysis on a bundle because there may be some not so good ones crammed in there that people are trying to get rid of with something that looks very attractive. Again, adding a whole new dimension to the entire process. That very situation is what caused the housing market bubble crisis.
Yes, AAA bonds that were actually Bs or Cs.
So it is a very interesting idea, and it's very possible for us to do that. And if people want it, we might do it. So you'll need to make some crypto bonds, put in some governance votes, and you can make that happen.
It goes into, I can think of one person right off not one person, one entity that I spoke about on the last stream that would really like that option.
Yes.
Probably.
Larger lenders would definitely benefit from that because there would be a lot less microtransactions that they would have to do.
Correct. Now, yeah, I really like that question.
That is a very good question, Moloch. Man, I'm so glad you're here, sparking this imagination in our brains.
Did you spark it? Did we already have it? Who knows, right?
Well, I mean, the conversation part of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've already explored that idea.
Yeah.
We've explored a lot of ideas. Some ideas are going to work out pretty good if we follow them, and some of them we kind of already realized, well, that may not be in the best interest, you know. It's hard to remember to talk about everything that we've been kind of, you know, figuring out which way we want to take everything.
I have probably 3 or 4 ideas that I would like. Just there's no way that these things can't come to fruition at some point, I think, and
yeah,
are huge add-ons, just plugging in more things to the network.
Yeah, there's a lot of plugins and things that we'd like to see, like, you know, dressed up and added on. Features, new features, functionality. A lot of little things. It kind of adds up, though. Synthman asked a pretty good question. He said, I want to see someone paying their house rent or deposit in crypto bonds to benefit both the tenant and the landlord, or other rentals and other deposits. It's not really a question, but yeah, that'd be cool, man. Wouldn't that be wild if, like, you know, like, hey, man, I got this, like, asset. I could, you know, will you take that for the rent? And they're like,
sure.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Definitely. It's got ETH in it. It's got Sync in it. It's got XYZ other token in it. Sure, why not?
Of course, it depends on how nice your landlord is.
Crypto's becoming more of a household thing now.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming mainstream.
About it everywhere. I actually started watching a TV show. I haven't watched a TV show in over a year, and I finally started watching one with my wife, Queen of the South. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's about this cocaine cartels and stuff like that. But anyways, the main character, she starts a cryptocurrency account, and she almost like Silk Road, and she runs it. And I'm like, they're now advertising this blatantly on TV in their shows. There's a whole other show I think on Netflix that's about a cryptocurrency startup.
Really?
So it's becoming household to the point that I could see this in the very near future, being possible that somebody wouldn't mind actually getting paid in a crypto bond for rent. Imagine if the value of the dollar goes down another 40%.
Wow.
In 6 months. Just imagine. Would you really want to get paid in dollars at that point?
No, that's the problem. That's the problem. There's going to be a big rug pull on dollars eventually. We got a lot of conversations sparking up out of this. Nice. Julie Garlick. I don't know how to say that. Queen of the South is a football team in Scotland. Nice. That's funny. EDM Squirrel says, not sure if the question's been asked before, but I might have seen some question like in the Telegram chat, but is it possible to build an auto rebonding option? Just like some of the other platforms use auto compounding. Not in our current state.
Yeah, not in our current state, because you always have to have 50-50. So it's very unlikely that
correct.
The starting of your bond and the ending of your bond, the assets would all be the exact same price. And then you'd also have more sync because you gain rewards. So
yeah.
And yeah,
it would be difficult to implement. But therein lies kind of the whole market of burning crypto bonds and reminting new ones. Once people get like greedy enough and they've burned a lot of the old ones, they'll be extremely rare and they'll be collectible. That's the thing, is that you're hoping these things move out of just like their intrinsic value into collectible value, where people are like, dude, look at that old piece of paper. That thing looks so cool. It's from like 10 years ago, and they never bothered to cash it out. It's like this rare artifact on the blockchain,
Yeah.
And people who value these types of things now, there's going to be more people adopt this kind of mentality as time goes on, because the younger generation, they're all about digital scarcity. They understand it. I mean, it's something they grew up with. For us, we're kind of like having to learn and get into it. We're kind of like in the middle, The older generation, it's a little bit harder to understand how digital scarcity, like the scarcity of an idea, can have its own value. And I fully believe it will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people are getting involved in crypto. It's just they're getting like on noob level, but a lot of these newer people coming in, they're going to like Robinhood, or they're going to Cash App, and it's like just these centralized, but their apps are super user friendly.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Sending my grandmother to MetaMask, good luck. Sending her to Cash App, super easy.
And that's what's funny though, right? Where are these pain points? I think MetaMask has done a good job kind of smoothing them all out, but it's like the guides and the walkthrough and the step-by-step process of going through everything that really trips people up, because there's only like so many functions in MetaMask, but it's hard to wrap your mind around how it can work on any website that you go to. Well, we got some more great comments. There's also a series on Netflix called Startup, all about crypto. Yeah, I'll check that out, Big Bear, and put it on my watch list.
Yeah, Big Bear, you already pay your rent in ETH, huh? That's cool.
Dude, that is super cool.
That's awesome. I've been actually looking. I've been trying to. I found a couple small car dealerships that locally, which is nuts compared to where I live, that will accept ETH, Bitcoin, or USDC.
Really? That is really cool.
And not just for like exotic cars. Like I'm looking to buy a truck, and they're like, yeah, sure,
nice.
we'll take that. And it's like, whoa, all right, that's cool. So it's happening. It is happening, and it's I think it's gonna. I think the adoption will be a lot faster than people think on a global level. Over the next 3 years, the amount of people that are going to come in, I think, will dwarf the amount of people that are here.
Merging Footwork has a question. He says, burned or matured Bond artwork, could they be reminted to that same address and used again with new LPs?
No. And that's another thing. It's like, do you want to burn the artwork?
This you just stated, though, your desire to keep it would be mitigated if you could remint it anew again. But instead, that's how we maintain that collectible aspect. You don't get to redo it again.
I mean,
it depends. Contractually, in the blockchain, it required that time, that block number, and a bunch of other factors to create that artwork. To reproduce that scenario, it would be impossible. It'd be impossible to reproduce it,
Correct.
And that's part of the thing that's cool about it, right? You make a new one, you might get one that looks kind of similar, but it won't be. It'll be different.
Yeah, and speaking about like rarity, I mean, you have
that's a very slim maybe. Almost
1,800 crypto bonds in existence right now, or that have been made, and if you move out just 1 or 2 years, number 1, number 2, number 10, number 100, we could potentially have tens of thousands of bonds by that time, where there's certain numbers that are super collectible, with like really, really low numbers, or so I can see that being as well. Maybe not even just the art, just the actual ID of it. Oh my God, that was the first one to ever, or that was number 2 or 3. I'm never cashing that out.
Oh yeah, and that's a good point. The bond ID number, you'll never be able to rewind that either. If it has a low number, it's like a low number on an artist print. It's like, oh yeah, that was the first one of this kind of bond. Big Bear Crypto says he's got a shameless plug. You know what? We'll allow it. We'll allow the plug. Big Bear Crypto is working with a company in Panama that has a concierge service that will let you buy any vehicle you want directly from the factory, have it delivered right to your door, and you can pay completely in crypto. His new truck is arriving next week, and he is super excited. I'm excited for you, man. Awesome. That sounds bad, dude.
That's awesome.
That's really cool, man. And you built that company up, I guess, or you were working with that company. He says that's really cool.
And they'll deliver it to your door. Mail-ordered cars with crypto.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. That's the future. I went to a dealership a couple months ago, and I was like, I wanted to see a Ford Bronco. I wanted to know what they look like. They're like, they're order only. We won't keep any in stock. I said, is that the way everywhere? And they're like, that's the way Ford's going to do it moving forward. Not the mini Bronco, the big one. They got a new big Bronco. But
you got to order it, huh?
You have to order it. They're like, you get it the way you want, exactly the way you want that way, but they're not going to let us keep any on the lot. We can't order any for stock. I guess they're not sure if they want to mass produce them or not. Those may be a rare car someday, but you got to buy it sight unseen.
The original Broncos are pretty. You don't see those anymore. Those are badass.
Oh yeah, my buddy had one.
Yeah, I mean, I had a buddy that had them. Lifted, like 40-inch super swamper tires.
Oh yeah, those are awesome, man. Let's see, we got some more questions in here. Big Bear Crypto says he found them, but we were working with them to get some wider exposure. Oh, okay. Jackie Sparrow says, don't out Ethereum. BSC's a scam. Ninja says, when do we go to Binance NFT? Ah, yes. We've been doing a lot of our due diligence into these cross-platform solutions, and I'm starting to uncover some dirty sheets on Binance Chain. and I'm not really liking what I'm seeing.
Nope.
Yeah, on the surface, it sounds real simple. They're like, oh yeah, it's just a faster copy of Ethereum running on their private servers. But as was pointed out earlier in the chat, yeah, there's been some security breaches on Binance Smart Chain, and part of the reason is the number of nodes in their network, and the timing of some of the things is too fast. So it's not as safe. And Polygon may have some of the same problems. So we're trying to find a solution to all this because, what's the point if you go over there and make it cheaper, but then you got to bring it back to Ethereum to use it because that's where everything is, that's where all the value is, and the real security is. And if you're going to
I was going to say the security.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like we're very careful when it comes to security. We have to be. It's not a option, it's a requirement. There's a ton of funds coming into here. We can't do anything just halfway insecure and just hope for the best. And it takes some time. It takes some time to sort all this out and find out what's actually going to be the best. Yeah, like Tulix Crypto says, FTM seems way better than BSC, and I agree that it fully is.
Yeah.
But if there's nobody using it, and everybody's on Binance Smart Chain because it's just convenient, and the whole point of doing this is convenience over security, it's a really tough question,
Yeah, I mean, would you have more of a problem, I guess, like if there is a security risk, you just have to ask yourself, it's like, is a 2-cent transaction worth potentially losing it all? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for me.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, if you're making a bond and you're worried about like spending $50 total in transactions, from adding liquidity to building the bond and then cashing it out, we're hoping you're going to see a much bigger return that's going to eclipse that by far, because in your willingness to sell that back, you have to factor in all those things. So yeah, things do get more expensive over time, and that's why the value of crypto goes up. I mean, that you have to demand more for it because you've incurred expenses along the way, right? It's not just worth what it is on face value. I mean, your time went into it, your research went into it. You got to factor those things into the value of your crypto bond too, and they're not just printed on the surface. Also, if it looks good or happens to be a rare one, because there's not very many lucky bonds, maybe you don't want to cash those out ever, because they are on a totally different level.
Mm-hmm. Ninja, does anybody have a link to the Zapper Fi vote GW crypto bonds displayed in their app?
You know what?
Oh, Zapper Fi.
We should put that in our DApp. It should be in the sidebar that's kind of hidden. I think a lot of people overlook that in our older DApp. There's a little gear in the corner, and when you click that, you can disconnect from the app and log out for some reason if you so desired. But there's also a link to Zapper, and it goes straight to your account so you can manage your liquidity pair tokens. Because, I mean, as good as we are, that's their specialty. That's what they specialize in at Zapper, and you can see exactly how much is in there, and you can remove your liquidity into whatever token you want. So, I mean, any one of the Lightning routing pairs from Uniswap, basically. So, right. There's only a few of those, but again, if you have like an exotic pair, you could pull it out in all ETH if you wanted to. And that's a lot better. It's lower gas fees too.
Correct. Yeah, you do things in one transaction. It's definitely cheaper.
Yeah, and transacting in ETH itself is cheaper.
Yeah.
Than in a token that has to execute like contract. What we got here, Merging Footwork says ramp. Crypto Joe says, security is pretty important, all right. Recently, BSC has been worse than the Wild West. That's no joke, And I mean, what was that one that just happened? 1 inch. You guys should be careful with 1 inch. That was terrible.
Oh.
Yeah, Scott remembers. He feels bad for the guy.
Oh my God, I feel like that is awful what happened to that guy.
Yeah, I can break that down into what happened to him. So this guy, he goes to get 80K of dig token from Badger DAO, and he uses 1 inch because it's an aggregator, and 80K is a large transaction. And using an aggregator makes sense. Crypto Joe was unaware of 1 inch. You didn't know 1 inch had a single bad loss. This guy lost $80,000 on a transaction. A miner executing a flash loan was able to arbitrate him out of $80,000 for almost a cost of $200.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bad.
He only got like a few $100 in tokens.
He basically lost all of his money, and the reason is because the 1 inch router. 1 inch said they found the guy who had made the transaction. He was Chinese, and they refunded his money. I mean, out of their fees that they've collected, they refunded him because they felt so bad about it. It was their fault. They refunded him. It was worth $48. That's how much he got back. He traded 80K and got $48 worth of dig tokens. Stable magnet is also another bad example. Yeah, so 1 inch is great if you're doing a large transaction because it can break it up into a lot of different pools, right? Uniswap intentionally goes through these lightning pairs. So Uniswap has its own router that can, trade through different currencies, but it always goes to ETH first, then to something else. So the ETH pair is like super hot on Uniswap to help facilitate larger pools. Less slippage inherently is what the idea is supposed to be. But on 1 inch, they have found it automatically can arbitrate through different pools and get you a better price. Well, this guy's like, I got 80K, I want to get the best price, so I'm going to hit like 6 different pools at the same time and just hit them all for a little bit, and that way one pool isn't down by 80K and other people arbitrage from pools B, C, and D into A, and they make money off of him, right? So he splits up his order. He goes to 1 inch to do that big order. So far everything's great, but then suddenly at the last second, some miner caught that transaction, tried to put it into a block with a flash loan, and created a new pool of just like $200 for that dig token, and convinced the 1 inch router to go to it instead. And so his slippage turned into like maximum overdrive slippage. So
bad.
Yeah, so it was Flashbots software is what was used to actually do the arbitrage. But it's not going to be beneficial to anybody in this chat because the miner has to run that software, capture the transaction from the mempool, then build their own transaction next to it and put it in the same block. And what's really crazy...
How did they do that? That's the thing. But you only have 11 seconds to get all that done.
Well, because it's automated.
Yeah, well...
It's automated. It's a bot.
And how... Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a bot. So the bot's just sitting here always trying to do that. And then this guy kind of walked into it. The guy running the bot was probably like, whoa, woke up today, bot made $80,000. That's great. That's a great transaction. They're so stingy, these miners. The transaction fee for his bot transaction was just like 1 gwei. And it was included because he didn't send it to the mempool to be picked up by any other miner. If, let's say, a different miner won that block, this dude wouldn't have been arbitraged. He would have been fine. That literally tells you how evil these big miners can be. So not only did it rely on that opportunistic moment to happen and took advantage of 1 inch, the miner had to be the one to execute that transaction and no one else could have done it. Yeah. So miners are not your friends.
They are definitely not your friends.
Having more miners is not a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's having better miners. That's really what it is. But they're incentivized to jump on your head and do sketchy things.
So, and you know, that's the thing. Like, even when they switch over ETH to staking. So right now, the gas fees, you've probably noticed they've been lower, but there's still plenty of transactions and volume on Ethereum, right? Well, a big part of that lower transaction fee is the miners aren't attacking the gas anymore. They've conceded. They know that ETH 2.0 is going to help out a lot. Oh my gosh, that's a bad deal too. So I guess, did you hear about the ETH 2.0 staking pool hack?
No.
An Ethereum 2.0 pool, staking pool, where everybody's staked in there together, just earning interest, and you can't pull it out until ETH 2.0 launches. Someone got the private keys for the pool somehow and rugged like millions of dollars. This happened just like yesterday or something. While we were busy. I don't have all the full details on that one, but so like the owners of the pools are like, they're
85,000 ETH. Oh my!
Is that what it was? How much is that? 85,000 ETH.
Wrecked. Oh my God.
Moloch knows all about. He knows more than I do. I heard like a headline, and I was like, oh no, that's bad. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't stake my ETH in ETH 2.0.
Over 150 mil.
150 mil is worse than I thought.
Over that.
Oh my God, 160 mil. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and you didn't even hear of it. There's all this other crap's going on. You know?
Dude, that's horrible for those. Oh my God.
I mean, I feel bad for everybody involved, because they're just trying to earn some passive ETH, staking it, you know, doing what they're supposed to, supporting the protocol.
How did they get the private key?
I don't know. I have no idea. Did they?
Although whoever had the private key, like, what did they kidnap somebody?
That's what I'm wondering.
Hammers open up ledgers, by the way. You know, hit somebody on the head with a hammer. You can.
The wrench, yeah, you can open a ledger with a wrench, a hardware wallet. Yeah, you just hit them with a wrench till they unlock it.
Yeah. I'll kill you if you don't do this. That's why. I mean, if you have a lot of money in a ledger, like, it needs to be in.
You shouldn't. You should have it in a vault somewhere. Not on your premise.
Yeah.
Inside job. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's bad for the legitimacy of ETH and version 2. Does anybody know what happened to the guys who created that pool? Crypto Joe thinks it was inside job. Definitely inside job, Sync thinks. Yeah, I mean, it's like Mt. Gox losing all that Bitcoin. It's like, yeah. They were hacked.
Yeah, we were hacked.
We were hacked. We'll pay.
Like, or the oil pipeline. That just happened, right?
Yeah, that's baloney as well.
That's super baloney.
It doesn't make any sense. And now in Texas, maybe you guys heard about this. Maybe you haven't. Someone hacked. Huh?
You talking about the grid?
The power grid. Yeah, someone hacked the electric meters. Did you hear about that?
And we have meat packing as well. I think there's a lot of false flags in my opinion.
Well, no. This is a good hacking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they hacked into the electric meters in Texas, and the power company hasn't been wanting to tell people who they were blacking out and who they weren't blacking out during the rolling blackouts. But apparently a hacker got into all of the meters and found out who exactly was getting privileged power during the blackout anyway. And
people with money?
People with money, yeah. Poor people can just suffer and die. But the power company's not going to say that, you know. They're not going to show who it is. But the data's been leaked out there, so now we know. And they've been exposed. That's, I wonder why people aren't talking about that more. Or the Quadratics guy who disappeared and then died in India. Yeah, that's very fishy, you know. I think he didn't take his personal security very seriously. You know, I mean, it's a serious deal. I mean, part of the benefit of us making like our smart contract fully admin burned and stuff, there's nobody, like, you know, me and Scott aren't in any danger that somebody's going to attack us, because even if they did, we can't do anything, right? There's no admin. There's no admin to our well, we're DeFi. It's out there. It's released. You know, that's
I couldn't turn it off if I wanted to.
We can't turn it off. We can't mint more tokens. It's there, and it's fully launched.
Yeah, that's fully launched, and more products are already coming on top of it. And we've hinted at multiple other products that are in the pipeline, more than likely, you know. And if you go back and watch the last stream we did, there was a little bit of info in there that was the biggest info drop ever. The largest one ever.
Yeah.
Larger than the lending platform. Larger than artwork. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Crazy stuff going on, and you gotta visit all these streams to find out, guys. I mean, we're giving you like super valuable knowledge.
Well, that's the thing with these streams is you guys hear it here first, you know, and then everybody that doesn't come into the stream, they might hear it in a month or two on Medium.
Herd furders, yeah. These people talking in chat, I'm not sure what they're talking about. Sync until the end of times. Alpha, dude, yeah. That's why we love talking to you guys. Gets everybody on the same page, and we can get your feedback right away instantly. So there's a lot of two-way benefit to doing these streams. It benefits you guys because you get to hear about all the new stuff that's going on before everybody else, and we can get your feedback right away. We can kind of gauge people's reactions instantly to things.
Yeah. You have a question, you can just ask us. Well,
oh yeah, we're here.
You'd like to see ETH at 1500s for like 30 minutes?
For 30 minutes? Yeah, you know what? Every exchange would close and they'd roadblock you out of it.
Yeah, well, you have limit orders open down there. Right?
Oh, they'd be like, our exchange was frozen. Oh, we don't know what happened. Our orders went in at $1 above yours. It's so weird. It's I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Robin Hood. Yeah.
Oh, we're experiencing too many people online.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen messages like that on centralized exchanges, but
I've been all baloney.
How long has it been now? I don't use them anymore. It's going back to like 2019, I think.
I've never been a trader, so I don't.
No, just to like, but you know, not to trade, just to get tokens from, you know, and because you can't get everything on Uniswap right now. Not everything's on ETH.
Yeah. I mean, not everything's on ETH, but you know, that's the funny thing, right? There's a lot of wrapped assets on ETH, and some of them make a lot more sense than the others, right? Like wrapped Bitcoin is pretty cool because now you have Bitcoin on Ethereum. But then if you have like Matic, it's kind of like, I guess it's only there for the bridge, but what does it need to be on Ethereum for? Other than they're trading Ethereum for it, but you could take Ethereum over there and they could capture that value of Ethereum. But Bitcoin doesn't let you take Ethereum over to Bitcoin and try to take our value away. Ethereum only takes value away from Bitcoin. I mean, people know this. Bitcoin maxis hate this. They hate this fiercely. Well, you think ETH would learn its own lesson and be like, you know, guys, from the perspective of a smaller network, it'd be better for ETH to go that way and their token not to come back. But they don't do it that way. They make these two-way bridges because like wrapped Bitcoin's hot. You know, I mean, a lot of people use that. You can get that Bitcoin exposure while in DeFi.
I've never used their bridge. I've always used the Ren bridge.
Yeah.
I think that Ren bridge is so easy to use. It's user friendly. But I haven't even actually looked at the bridge for wrapped Bitcoin. I liked Ren so much; it worked so great.
It's not really a bridge though. On wrapped Bitcoin, it's more like Tether.
Yeah.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, whereas Ren is kind of like this cool virtual machine that connects to both networks, and actually it's a real bridge, you know. And their bridge has been modeled and stolen, if you would, to be reused on like Matic and Binance Smart Chain, and that's how they're getting things across. It's the same technology. Some Crypto Joe says, any clue of in what form a fund may invest? Probably too early to give me a clue. I'm not a fund manager. I'd have no idea.
I have no idea. I'm not sure. They said that they were very interested in our products and they're doing more and more research into it, basically. And they are very, very interested. So that's pretty much all I am going to give out to the community at this point.
Yeah, we got merging footwork of the follow-up question. IW bond trading section. Don't think I got the whole message there. I'm not sure. Ninja says, I'll check on Brave, also on PC. Oh, Ninja, are you helping somebody in the chat? Tulix Crypto. Thanks, Ninja. It's working now for him on Chrome. Oh, I had to scroll up a little bit. To anyone having more than 10 bonds, I can't see them in the UI. Oh. Might have to refresh. What can Ren do? I know bridges. Ren is like a VM token that is used to facilitate moving Bitcoin from Bitcoin to Ethereum. You know, and you get Ren BTC, which is redeemable back for real Bitcoin through their little their bridge, right? With wrapped Bitcoin, it's weird. You send them Bitcoin and it goes to their private wallet, and then they send you wrapped Bitcoin and they say, yeah, it's worth the same. And so it holds that value on Ethereum because you can take it and send it back to their company, and they will supposedly send you Bitcoin back, like Tether, right?
Yeah,
that's a little dangerous, a little sketch.
Yeah.
The Ren bridge is awesome. He used Tulix Crypto used the Ren bridge last week. Nice.
It's really user friendly, and it's quick. It's pretty easy, you know.
And as far as I know, it only exists on Ethereum.
Yeah, I've never felt like worried that my Bitcoin wasn't going to show up in my wallet when I went, you know, from wrapped Bitcoin to Bitcoin, or well, the first time I was, obviously, you know, first time you use anything, you get nervous.
Yeah. You know, you get used to sending ETH transactions too, and that even gets less scary, you know.
Yeah, I remember some of the transactions we had to do at the beginning of this. It was like sweating bullets.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like those puckering, sweaty transactions.
Yeah, no, nobody likes that.
What you got?
Crypto Bochan. Do you think ETH will overtake BTC's market cap in the next 5 years? I think it'll happen before the next 5 years. Because here's the thing, you can have mortgages, you can write smart contracts for mortgages, you can do loans, you can do insurance. It can be more than just a currency. You know, these smart contract products, if they decide to all get built on ETH, it's ETH moon. Absolute moon. Market cap. It might, I mean, Bitcoin might also still be mooning. Like the price of Bitcoin might go to $1 million and the price of ETH might only be 100,000, but it could have a larger market cap, you know?
Oh, yeah. You know, and for me personally, my feelings on it, I don't think ETH price will be bigger than Bitcoin's price, but
Correct.
There's a lot more of it and the market cap could surpass it, you know. That's definitely, the flippening is extremely possible. But that could be said in five years in crypto. Maybe Matic is the one that passes it. I mean,
yeah, we don't know.
Or Avalanche, or Polygon, whatever they call it, you know.
It's a consensus of all the developers, really, because if the developers don't want to move off of ETH, and you have all the talented developers here, then, you know, it's not going to develop on Matic. It's not going to, you know, happen on BSC. It depends on.
I think one of the most bullish aspects for any other token besides ETH I have is Polkadot, because it's made by the original Ethereum founders, or some of them, and it's the developers, right? And their aim is to make a better product than ETH. And if they get the user interfaces down and actually solve a lot of the difficulty problems of, you know, that makes it hard to use, expensive to use, and because, you know, you've got Bitcoin, then you've got Ethereum. Polkadot's like ETH 3.0, if you want to think about it that way. And here's the thing, just because it's better doesn't mean it'll take off. Like Scott said, he's absolutely right. If people don't want to use it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, maybe everybody flocks around ETH because it's already got a foothold. It already has all this ecosystem. In a lot of ways, Ethereum's better than Bitcoin, except for the dirty miners. I mean, the miners in Bitcoin do the same crap, right? They front run people. They cram transactions. They launder money through transactions. They do all kinds of crazy things that it wasn't designed to do. You're not supposed to be able to do it, but they do all the time.
Right.
But if Polkadot takes off, it stands a real good chance of smashing ETH, and it could do in a very short time frame. Because if there's a flipping, it's like a switch. People move and migrate, and if the same contracts work.
The way I see it though is ETH has had years of battle testing, you know, and exploits and hacks, and then getting better, people writing better code and learning all the bugs, and you're gonna have to do that on all of the other chains if they're new.
Yeah, Sync to the Future. Sync is the Future says Polkadot has Coinbase founders behind it, and that's going to go far. You know, so they got some serious powerhouse players that can influence a lot of people.
I wonder how much money they've made from Coinbase. Actually, in profit. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, I'm sure that they've posted it since they're public now.
Yeah, it's got to be an insane amount of money.
Crypto Kabochan also says Bitcoin is useless, but well-trusted store of value. Will always be around and be valuable and attractive. ETH, I'd say, is number one in the space in the future with huge potential and network effect, plus a well-trusted store of value through competitors it'll obviously be chasing constantly. Some potential in taking over in the long term with better management or team maybe. Maybe 20 years Bitcoin could be class like silver, the ugly sister, once the big tech of blockchain develops. I mean, yeah, the thing is 5 years in crypto is like 20 years in traditional finance. It really is. It maybe even longer than that. I mean,
the way the world's going right now, might not be any humans on Earth in 5 years.
Yeah,
looking like World War III about to break out.
Guys, lol. Ethereum, Polkadot, Binance Smart Chain. What you said, if Sync has only 2,500 holders, need more holders, more member community. Jackie Sparrow, yeah. I mean, here we are reaching out to people. Invite some of your buddies to the stream. I know you got friends out there into crypto.
Yeah, it's not that often that you can just go and talk to the developers of the project weekly.
Yeah.
And get the best information weekly.
Oh, yeah. You know, we've got Cardano. Crypto Joe brings up Cardano. Yeah, Cardano is a good one. And Cardano is, yeah. So that's another dark horse, right? Polkadot's kind of like the one everyone's looking at, right? Cardano, everything's been boring, but they're about to launch smart contract functionality on Cardano soon. And if that happens and all these Ethereum contracts just move over there, I would trust Cardano hands down over Matic or Binance Smart Chain any day of the week, because they're not just a crappy clone of Ethereum. They're like data scientist, well-matured, safer technology. I mean, it's going to be real hard to compete against Cardano. Cardano is going to be a serious contender for the foreseeable future. Because, again, like Polkadot, their founder was one of the original Ethereum founders. I mean, he was one of the original developers on Ethereum. He's been here since the beginning, and he's very smart. And he does live streams like we do. He has an active community. He engages with them, and his community started out like ours. You know, he did this first, right? But from there, you know, it grows. That's how you grow a community. You got to be there. You got to put in the time. As people see these recordings, we're going to post this recording on YouTube, by the way, so people can come back and see what we're all about, because it's not always conducive to everybody's time schedule.
Right.
Tulix Crypto says, ADA is my biggest bag. I also believe that their proof of work is serious. Not an ETH killer, but will coexist with different use cases and have a positive network effect.
Well, I mean, why does there have to be one, you know, or two, or just there could be a bunch, as long as they're built well. And I mean, this wouldn't be the first time in history that you would have a large amount of different currencies in existence at the same time. You only need to go back just like 100 years in the United States. You know, you had before it was after the first central bank of the United States collapsed, or maybe it might have been after the second, but before the Fed got started. States were printing all their own money. States and private banks would be able to issue their own currencies. And that ended up going belly up because of the same reason that's happening right now, is because they started fractionalizing it, and then they printed more and more notes, and they ran up their inflation, and then you had these notes all over the place that went to zero. The same way you're seeing that happen on a actual country scale, where it's like, okay, wait, Venezuela, Argentina, you have all these countries, you have in Turkey,
you can't trust people at the end of the day. I mean, they may be safe and reliable for years, but people can be compromised. They can be bought. They can change their mind. They can have mental breakdowns. They can have mental disease. And then, you may have someone fill in for an emergency, and suddenly policies change, money's getting printed everywhere, and all hell breaks loose, right?
Exactly.
But if a computer is running that on a tightly defined set of rules that we can all agree on, even if they're not perfect.
Immutable smart contract, yes.
Immutable smart contract. You're going to have a much more harmonious time.
And I think I want to touch on this a little bit too, because I don't think I touch on this enough, is our reward rates on the crypto bonds are the consensus of the network. And what I mean by that is it's the user's interaction with the network directly set the reward rates. And as more people want it, so if we had 60 or 70% of the supply bonded, the reward rates would be very, very low, right? So then there wouldn't be a large inflation overall, because it's supposed to work as an ebb and flow in general. And why shouldn't the reward rates that you guys are offered be set by a total consensus of everybody in the network?
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Why should everybody in the market pause and hold their breath, waiting for what a group of people are going to decide to set the policy for everybody?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a handful of anonymous people.
I mean, you don't know.
Yeah, you really don't know who's at the Fed.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's when you really think about it, there's a lot of trust in our system. It says I think our money says, in God we trust on it, but he's not the one at the money printer.
Yeah, he's not. I didn't think he was printing it. So maybe we should just, in math we trust.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Yeah.
I like that better.
In code we trust, right? In crypto we trust. I mean, code can have its share of problems too, but at least it doesn't have any malintent from the onset. Yeah. It can be peer reviewed to the point where the general consensus is, hey, this is great. We don't have to worry about manipulation or inflation or counterfeiting. We have different worries, right? We trade that set of worries, the old world worries of uncertainty, for a new set of worries of are we going to get hacked? Are our keys going to get stolen? But these are all more individualistic type of worries. Whereas these are the old ways were global concerns, right? I mean, it's bad when $160 million gets hacked out of an ETH 2.0 pool, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a failure of the new system. Nothing's perfect.
They're not. I mean, they're called smart contracts, but they're dumb contracts. They're gonna.
Yes, smart contracts are very dumb.
Yeah, they'll do whatever you tell them to do, and you can build yourself a guillotine, basically. Cut your own head off with the smart contract if you wanted to. Financially, if you do something wrong there, you don't audit it. Yeah.
I love Crypto Joe in here. He's giving me some insight. Ninja taught him today the optimal time to make a crypto bond after a big Bitcoin dippity up.
Yeah, and not immediately after, because that's when gas is still super high. But pretty much a day later.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, I mean, every market dips a little bit different, but you kind of feel it out and look, and you're just like, it's got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like after these, like, just any huge move, you get this crazy gas increase, and then it, like, just dies for a little bit because nobody knows what's going on. There's like, oh my God, is it going to keep dumping? Is it going to keep pumping? And they're indecisive in those moments. So, I mean, but that's just kind of like taking into account. It's like if you see the gas go low, it's just that to me signals that nobody knows what's happening. Not with the gas price, but which direction the market's going to go whenever there's super low gas.
I might have missed a chat here or there. Ant was hollering at me. He was saying, Strictly 0x has a question in the chat. Did I get your question, 0x? Nah, I don't ignore. I'll take any question. I don't care how hard it is, whatever you think. Say something nasty though, we'll ban your ass so fast. We'll cancel culture your ass right out the door.
Oh my God. No, definitely not. Cancel culture, it's like the worst thing in the world, man. It's such a commie thing.
Well, I think we're going to have to end the stream pretty soon anyway, because I am now out of drink.
Yeah, I want to eat some lunch.
Yeah, if you guys got any questions, shoot them at us. Got 30 seconds. Come up with something good.
I hope everyone checks out the lending platform. There is a large amount of offers that have been given out so far. And
hey,
it's very easy to see right in our DApp. You go into our DApp, you go into the My Portfolio page. Your offers are listed in the bond list. So it'll show if your crypto bonds are listed, unlisted, how many offers you have on them, and you can click it and it'll take you right to the actual borrow page or lend page, whichever one you want to go to. Right?
Okay, I found the question I missed. I'll feel bad if I leave it hanging. I gotta address this. Well, I didn't find it. Ant's the one that noticed it for me. He says, like, how can you get proof? Let me see if I can move this chat box out of the way here. How can you get proof of income from being a trader when you're heavily trading NFTs? Because he's a heavy NFT trader. And I would imagine I can't speak for a financial advisor. A financial advisor could tell you, but if you receive ETH from a transaction or DAI or whatever from a transaction of that asset, and then you sell it, like say you buy it for X amount, then you sell it for X amount, the difference between the first X and the second X is your tax event, right? Because you took a loss, then you took a gain, and then you have to subtract those two, and whatever's left over will be what goes on your taxes, either positive or negative. Again,
in trading, yeah. If somebody just sends you ETH, like your buddy sends you ETH, that's technically income. So you get income, and then if it moves in price, then you have either capital gain or loss.
Yeah,
normally, depending on which jurisdiction you're in, basically, do your own research on that. Talk to your own tax lawyer.
It would. I say cool. It sounds kind of cool, but if there was a token where every transaction you made incurred a taxable event and it just automatically sent the taxes to the government, and then you never had to actually pay taxes, that was like the only kind of tax that the government ran on.
Yeah, I'd rather just break the wheel and.
Wouldn't that? But wouldn't that be better though? I mean, every government has to run off taxes. Let's face it. There's no other way to make a government. How does a government pay its employees if they can't print money? Right? They have to tax people. Well, if you taxed everybody on transactions,
but they tax people and print money, and they're still broke. So why should we trust the government? We shouldn't.
We shouldn't. But okay. Instead of the government, we could have a mega DAO that runs the country. That would be my
donation only. If you want
government
road,
DAO.
If you want this road built, you got to find the funds and go and
petition it, vote on it, and then like the community pays a company to do it. And if the company doesn't perform, they're like, okay, now we hire a lawyer with that tax money and get them to make that company actually fulfill their promise.
You know, because I would definitely donate. I would donate to schools, roads, definitely. You want to know who I wouldn't donate to? Raytheon. You know, defense contractors. I don't have a say in how much money they get, and they get trillions.
Can you imagine like what would be happening in the stock market if everybody could see the votes in a DAO going on for spending government money? Like people would be like, well, we know that company, you know, is about to win or whatever. Big government DAO contract.
Yeah, I mean,
and
that's
then
kind of what's happening kind of right now. It's just not a DAO. It's not common consensus, but you do have the government around the world picking winners because they're giving free money.
Our government's like an analog DAO, if you think about it. That they're supposed to represent the people. They're just too many opportunities for exploits right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just run itself, you know.
Well, before we get too far down this rabbit hole, I'm hungry. I gotta go eat. It's been a pleasure, guys.
Scott's getting hangry. We better go. He's got to get angry on it. Yeah. Guys, appreciate having all of you here. Thank you for stopping by on the stream today.
Yes, thank you. Come check us out next week, and we'll have some more updates for you.
Excellent.
Take it easy, guys.
Later, guys.